Hey there, YouTube. Hope you're all doing well out there today. It is an absolutely beautiful day here in South Alabama. I woke up to temps in the high 30s, which made for good sleeping last night. And yeah, not a cloud in the sky. I'm going to get outside and enjoy a little bit of this weather here in a little while. I just was about to start doing this video and had my door open to the back deck, and man, there was a squirrel out there raising holy hell. So I, it would be kind of nice to hear the sounds of nature, but he was like really making some excessive noise, so we closed the door. But today, this is one of the non-food videos. We're going to talk about letting go of expectations, and I've got a little short reading for you from the book Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins. And I finally finished this, and this was just something real good and towards the end of the book that I just thought was worth repeating, worth sharing. I couldn't recommend this book more. I definitely recommend it to you. I don't know if I'm gonna start reading it again immediately, because I've got another couple of books on the back burner. I'm actually thinking about maybe getting it on audio so I can just kind of consume it when I'm in the car. But it's just really been a good one. I've learned a lot of stuff out of this one, but this particular section was the section on relationships, dealing with people, and I thought it would be helpful to others as well. Letting go of expectations. When we put pressure on other people in order to get what we want, they automatically resist because we are trying to pressure them. The harder we push, the harder they resist. Even though, out of fear, they may actually concede to our demands, there is not an inner acceptance, and later on we will lose what we have gained. This resistance is in all of us. We can be aware of it as it operates unconsciously, and we evade that awareness by making excuses and plausible explanations. As mentioned in an earlier chapter in his book, Winning Through Intimidation, Robert Ringer called it the boy-girl theory. Boy meets girl. As soon as she realizes he wants her, she becomes hard to get. So then if boy decides to withdraw, she now wants him, and he in return acts aloof. When we refer to this phenomenon to explain sales resistance, one way around it is to take the view that our responsibility is to make an effort, but not try to determine the result. Another way is to surrender the feelings we have about what we want from the other person and let go of the pressures we are putting on them in the form of expectation and desire. They then have the psychic space to become agreeable or even to initiate the desired result on their own, the result we had wished for in the first place. An example of this dynamic is a man who was working with the letting go technique in the midst of a divorce. He and his wife got into a heated argument over something he wanted. She just kept saying no to his request. So in the middle of it, he surrendered on the subject that he wanted. It was now okay with him if she didn't give it to him, and it was okay if she did give it to him. The instant he let go of it in his mind, she suddenly turned to him and offered, not only to give it to him, but to have it packed and shipped as well. This illustrates a very simple but decidedly elegant and active way of clarifying relationships. First, look at how you are secretly feeling about a person in a given situation. Presume that the other person is aware of those thoughts and feelings. Then, put yourself in their place and see how you would react. You will see that their behavior is probably just what you would have done in their place. The goal is to let go of all those feelings until you can go up to a positive thinking, feeling space about the matter. Once in a positive space, now see how you would react as the other person who was aware of these new feelings. The likelihood is that their behavior will change just as you would expect. There may be a time delay, but if you keep watching, the change will likely take place. Even if it doesn't, you will no longer be upset about the situation. Sometimes the payoff refuses to show up, but we can say, "This is one that the universe owed me in due time." In fact, it is a part of greatness to know that sometimes a good deed is not returned. The influence that our thoughts and feelings have is, in the world's literature, called the law of karma, or you get what you give, or you reap what you sow. Often we don't see this law in operation because of the time delay. For instance, An acquaintance borrowed $200 and then failed to pay it back as promised. For over a year, there was a resentment and consequent avoidance of the person because of the emotional discomfort, which was compounded by the guilt at holding the resentment in the first place. Finally, when it became apparent that the only person suffering from the resentment was the person holding it, and that it was costing peace of mind, the willingness to let it go emerged. At that point, the resentment was fairly easy to let go, and the borrower was forgiven. The $200 was recontextualized as a loan to someone who had been in need. Within a few months, there was an unexpected encounter with the person who said out of the blue, "I've been concerned about the money I owe you. Here's the whole $200. The loan was repaid without even asking for it. We block receiving what we want from others by our expectations or resentments of them. It is very effective to surrender our expectations of others before we enter into a particular situation with them. Emotions are really subtle attempts to force others and impose our will on them, which they unconsciously resist. The way to facilitate satisfaction in relationships is lovingly to picture the best possible outcome. Make sure it is mutually beneficial, a win-win situation. Let go of all the negative feelings and merely hold the picture in mind. We can tell if we are really surrendered when we feel okay either way. It's okay with us if it happens, and it's okay with us if it doesn't. Therefore, to be surrendered does not mean to be passive. It is being active in a positive way. When we are surrendered, there is no longer the pressure of time. Frustration comes from wanting a thing now instead of letting it happen naturally in its own time. Patience is an automatic side effect of letting go, and we know how easy it is to get along with patient people. Notice that patient people usually get what they want in the end. One resistance to letting go is the illusion that if we let go of the wantingness and our expectations, we won't get what we want. We fear that we will lose it if we don't keep pressuring for it. I can relate to that. I can relate to that a lot. The mind has the idea that the way to get a thing is to want it. Actually, if we examine the issue, we will see that events are due to decisions, and choices are based on our intentions. What we get is the result of these choices, even though they are unconscious, rather than what we think we want. When we surrender the pressure of wantingness, we are clear to make wiser choices and decisions. We think that our happiness depends on controlling events, and that facts are what upset us. Actually, it is our feelings and thoughts about these facts that are the real cause of our upset. Let me read that again. Actually, it is our feelings and thoughts about these facts that are the real cause of our upset. It's all about perception. There's a quote to the effect of life is 10% what is and 90% our perception of it. Facts in and of themselves are neutral things. The power we give them is due to our attitude of acceptance or non-acceptance and our overall feeling state. If we get stuck in a feeling, it is because we still secretly believe that it will accomplish something for us. And I think that really sums it up. We can tell if we are really surrendered when we feel okay either way. It's okay with us if it happens, and it's okay with us if it doesn't. I've taken that lesson before in mindfulness. That's what life is about. That's what I'm really trying to move towards. It's just, you do the best to get outcomes that you want, to get things that you want or that you think you want. And that's okay to want things, to have a desire for things. But I think for me especially, I don't want to talk for anybody else, I think that makes a lot of sense to me, though, that we need to be okay if it happens or if it doesn't. That once we do our best job, things will fall out as they fall out. And, a lot of times when I'm reading things like this, I think, and I just, I'll play a little music, I'll do a little introspection into it. And I know a lot of times I'll read something like this and somebody will comment like, oh, I wish I could do this, but it's just so, it's kind of just like retraining your mind. Like your mind jumps at things. Your mind will not necessarily do what's good for it. So sometimes the mind has to be controlled. Sometimes our actions just have to be controlled because it's not. But things are what they are. Fighting against what is just never going to get us anywhere. But anyhow, I highly recommend that book. I might do one more talk from it before it's all said and done, just kind of a comprehensive. But I really enjoyed this one. I don't know if I'd say next up. I'm going to kind of read this, not read it like cover to cover, but I've got Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've wanted to read a little bit of the Stoic philosophy for a while. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you here again tomorrow or over the weekend. Peace.